everyone. Thank you for your patience as we get started. Just a couple minutes after 3 on my end. So no big issues on our side, but thank you for joining us today. Welcome again. Thank you again for attending this webinar with Fullscript and Freedom Practice Coaching and the founder, Dr. Charles Webb. My name's Kaylee. I'm excited to have Dr. Webb with us here today. I believe this is our third webinar this year, at least, with Freedom Practice Coaching and Dr. Webb, who is an international speaker, author, and as I said, the founder of Freedom Practice Coaching. Before we get into it, I just want to let everyone know that this is being recorded, so you will get access to the recording once the event is done. As well, you can find all of our webinars on fullscript.com/webinars, which will have additional resources as well. And I know there's a few things that the team will be providing today. Also, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, on your GoToWebinar dashboard, there's a question section. Feel free to add them in there. I know Dr. Webb will try to address them as we go, and hopefully a little more at the end as well. Okay, so thank you again, Dr. Charles, for being here. As I said, he is the founder of Freedom Practice Coaching, which is a mentoring, education, and coaching program that helps practitioners gain critical knowledge of the business side of their practice and redefines the doctor-patient relationship to a uniquely customized mentor-client experience. Since 2012, his teaching methods have empowered hundreds of doctors and other healthcare providers to step out of the system and adopt a model proven to provide a higher level of care, generate true wealth, and provide life outside of their practice. So a little more on that. I know I can go on and on, but a little more on everything that Freedom Practice Coaching provides and much more, as I know. I'm going to pass it over to you, Dr. Webb, and get started with the presentation.
Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for, we're getting started just a little bit late. I'm going to be upfront with you and transparent. When you get into the virtual world, webinars, Zoom, all these things, you're always make certain you have a couple of different options, a couple of plans when things don't always go so well, because sometimes software changes and so forth, and we actually had to switch from our regular cameras to just a regular cam on a computer, so it might not be as clear as I hope. Is it looking pretty clear to you? It looks like the words are backwards on the screen here. Can you read them okay? Is everything shifted? Did it flip?
No, I think it's fine.
You can, we got our
Okay, so guys, I'm going to get started, get you caught up, but I appreciate you being here. I know it's in the middle of the day. I promise this is going to be an investment of your time. As practitioners, we all spend so much time within our business, working in our business, because we got to make the business work. But that leaves us very little time to work on the business. And if we don't work on the business, we aren't really developing a business that'll work for us. We're basically kind of in not basically, we are in a glorified job. And I don't want you guys to be tied down to a business that is forcing you to be there all the time. So we're going to take the next hour and I'm going to show you a model. I do believe you're going to resonate with this model. And we're not going to go into big detail because we only have an hour, but I promise you, I'll keep your attention. I'm not going to be just presenting, I'm going to be coaching. That's what I do. I'm going to be empowering you. So as I go through this, there are practices booming. We've got about 700 of them around the country and outside the country. But the point is, there is different things that we can do in these turbulent times, these questionable times. We never know what's coming up. And no matter what the situation, as a business owner, as a doctrineur, an entrepreneur, if you will, we want to be savvy. We want to protect ourselves. We want to look out into the future, look at what the past has brought us. How did a lot of these practitioners thrive last year? How did they make a bigger impact in their communities? How did they generate more wealth? How did they get on purpose and be able to live their life outside the practice? That's what I'm going to be covering over this time. So yes, I'm Dr. Charlie Webb, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. I know we still have some people that are probably going to be getting on late, so I'm going to share that with you. But the first thing I want to share with you is the team that makes this possible. I have an incredible team of professionals that work with doctors all over the country, outside of the country, South Africa, Australia, Canada. And when we work with, just like with you, if you want your freedoms, you need a superstar team. That's part of our coaching, making certain that you have a superstar team that's actually working with you, working with your patient clients, supporting your business so you can actually take time off, but so you can grow, so you can expand. And the only way that we can have an impact on the practices that we deal with is it's not Charlie Webb, right? I'm the founder. I put the system together. I'm heavily involved in it, but I'm the visionary this time to take things to the next place and make a bigger impact and start getting like-minded doctors like you together in communities so we can thrive together and so we can learn from another. But I've got a team that I couldn't do it without, and that's who supports you guys. And so there will be an opportunity later to learn more, and I'll get into that. But before I get into it, I want you to understand, I've been in the trenches. I was in the trenches for a lot of years. I do know what it's like to be in the trenches. I know what it's like to be in a broken model. So let me just help share you a little bit about who I am, and then we're going to jump into this platform, so to speak. And I'm going to put it together in an order that can be comprehended. There's not going to be overwhelm here during this hour. I'm not going to pull out a fire hose and have you drink from none of that helps anyone. I'm going to be very, very specific in helping you understand the why behind things. But I got into practice back in 1987, December of 87, started practice and worked as an associate for quite a while. Eventually had my own practice. And a lot of trials, a lot of hard times, but I opened up several practices and then eventually came to San Antonio, Texas, where I met my wife, Mindy. And I came here because of the culture and the weather, blue skies all the time. But I got to a point of building these practices, and I got burnt out because the model that I was in was fee for service, it was insurance, and it really restricted my time. I got to the point of, if for me to grow and me to be what I thought successful, generate, help more people, but also generate wealth and have all these things, I ended up falling in a trap, and the business owned me. And although from the outside, people would say, well, you're a really successful guy, you're very young, 36 years old, you've done all this. I made some real critical mistakes in my life, and one of them that I can never get back is I wasn't there as I could have been there to watch my daughter grow up, and so I missed out on something that I can never ever get back. And so often I hear from you guys and girls that want that family time. You've got kids that are young, maybe real young, or you got kids in high school or college, whatever. Maybe it's grandkids, and you just want to make certain you don't miss out on those times. And my son here, Landon, I've never missed out on any time. I've been with him from the very start. We have an unbelievable relationship. We travel the world together. So my wife, Mindy, and times we've been very blessed, and it was all of the hardships and the challenge that got us to this time. But times weren't always this way. So what happened when I got burnt out, I'm the type of guy that just says unacceptable. I'm not going to keep doing this. And that's what I decided to do. And I sold those practices and I left, and I get into other businesses. Well, I wasn't the entrepreneur that I thought I was. Just because I was successful in a practice doesn't mean I'm an entrepreneur, because I was taking insurance, and I know it's still a business, but when people don't have to pay for your services, it's a little bit easier to build that business. And I was very, very successful. I sold did my practice to a public company. So when I got into the world of entrepreneurship, I was able to grow. I built some business in real estate and concert promotions, but made some mistakes. And after a season, things fell apart, and I found myself with Mindy, and she's pregnant. Everything came tumbling down, and filed bankruptcy. I mean, didn't have a choice. It was a bad scene. I was left with $2,400 in the bank, and that's a scary place to be. Some of you may have been there. Some of you may have this anxiety on your mind of maybe going there. I can tell you this, so don't panic. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I would have never learned. I would have never, without those challenges, I wouldn't learn what I have today, and I wouldn't have built the businesses that I did, and I wouldn't have this coaching program. Because what it did, it forced me to go create a business around the life that I knew I was going to have. I wasn't going to go back into practice and lose my time with my wife and my son. And so I have empathy, not just sympathy. I have empathy for people that are actually going through these challenges with not knowing what tomorrow looks like, whether it's financial, the time, burnout, don't like the system, don't like not being able to work with my clients, my patients the way that I know is best fit for them. Because if you're on here, I know you're probably more of the mindset of the wellness, the lifestyle type of practitioner, and you want to empower those who come to you, not simply diagnose and prescribe, whether it's a treatment or what have you, or you're here to empower, you're here to change someone's life. And so things got better in time, but the reason I pushed so hard is because I had this little guy here. And I mean, it really was a challenge. I lost everything, didn't have a car. I had to use my wife's, and she had an older car at the time. So we had one car split between us. And again, $2,400 in the bank. So, and I'm not saying this is what was me, because it was a beautiful thing that happened to me. I turned into a lot better daddy, a lot better husband, a lot better leader. And it really brought me to a point of having a blissful life, and it can do that to you. So no matter what your challenges are, I want to help you there. I want to be your mentor and leader to help you understand. Let's embrace these challenges. Be with me today. If you have anxieties or concerns about the future, let's just turn that around into a simple concern that we can deal with. And if we can actually take action, then we can create that future we want. And so let's have fun with this. But I got back into practice, and starting off, I didn't have any money. So I just rented a room out of an MRI center. I was able to do that. The guy helped me out for the first 3 months. And then I hired Nicole here. She was my first employee. And then eventually Mindy came on. So you can tell that was some years back. And then this is my life today. This is Thanksgiving out in Cabo. That's where we have Thanksgiving every year. And we spend a tremendous amount of time as a family. In fact, when I was in practice, 90 days a year is what I took off, and that's what we train. We train people to do that. We do train you to just to have a 4-day work week, maybe a 3-day work week, because the business is about you, your family. It's about enjoying life today, not hopeful enjoyment in some future time. So should you be here? Well, if your business isn't to a place where it's serving you, you have freedoms, and you're not, if you're overwhelmed, you're getting burnout in the model you're in. And you might not think it's a model. You might believe, oh, if I just had more new clients, I'd be fine. Well, if your profit margins are low, no, you won't. You'll just work twice as hard, seeing more people. And it has to be a balance. It has to be a balance where, yes, we're impacting the community. Yes, we're generating wealth, because without that, we can't grow. We can't put money away from college. We can't have the freedoms to live a life of travel, things that we should be, and we can't give back. If we don't earn, we can't give back. And I know that you guys also, typically the people that get into as a doctor, you're altruistic. You want to give back, and I want you to be able to be in a position where it's easy to do that. So if you're in a position where you're frustrated and you know there has to be a better way, then hang out with me for the next hour, 45 minutes here. Hang out with me. Keep an open minded. No matter what you think, as I cover this, you might think, well, but you don't understand my situation. You don't understand my situation. Imagine when you talk to a new prospect that comes in, and you talk to them about lifestyle. There's fundamental foundations of lifestyle. And we can all agree, well, that's nourishment, possibly clean up the body before we add the nourishment, detox, what have you. We got to have a certain amount of supplementation, because it's very difficult these days, right, to get the nutrients we want. So nourishment will include what we put in our mouth, what we don't put in our mouth, and the good, healthy, whole food type of supplementations that you guys are using. And then we have movement, exercise, reduces stress, rest. Okay, this is a foundation that if you're a human being, yes, if you participate and you co-labor in time, you're going to maximize. You're going to have a more optimal living so you can enjoy life to its fullest. Business is no different. There's a formula. So no matter where your thoughts are now, I'm just asking you, if you're not happy, if you really do want to go after that dream, just be with me for this deal. You can take it back when we're done. You can take it back if you want to hold on to it, but understand it doesn't matter. I've got clients that are almost every kind of specialist is a client, medical. I've got chiropractors, I got naturopaths, I got nurse practitioners, PAs, you name it, in 4 different countries. So it will work. if it resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, I'm not gonna push it to work. But we do these because, number one, I and my team, we really do like to impact people. We really do like to see you guys change, but we're also trying to impact our communities. We're trying to change 10 million lives in the next 10 years. We can't do that without you. So we're looking for the right practitioner with the right mindset that does want to do more than simply work in their practice and treat their patient. We want people to be able to work in the lifestyle they want. The practice works for them, but they're impacting, they're empowering people to take charge of their life. That's who we're looking for. So what you will get an opportunity to do here, guys, is because I can't cover everything that I want in an hour, I'm not going to leave you hanging. And there's going to be an opportunity. I do a 4-hour workshop. The next one's Saturday, the 11th. So it's next Saturday from 9 to 1. Put it on your calendar. Just write it down, put it on your calendar. At the end of this, I promise you that probably the majority are going to say, why would I not go to that? Because this is another opportunity to work on your practice. I know it's pulling you away from stuff, and yeah, you might miss a kid's game. I don't want you to do that. But there is a certain place, if we sacrifice a little bit now, we can see all our kids' games later. We can gain that freedom. So hopefully you'll take me up on that workshop. You'll be able to click on it. We'll send you information to be able to get and watch that. But let's talk about what's not working, what's working, because we can't go and say, hey, let's look at a new model. You're not willing to look at a model until you recognize the one you're in is broken. It's kind of like, again, that new prospect coming to you, the patient. First thing I always ask him, tell me what you're not happy with. Yes, I have a history in front of me and all that, but I just want to know what you're not happy with, because they'll spill about their life. I'm unhappy not having the energy that I used to. I'm unhappy not having the sex drive that I did 10 years ago, Dr. Webb, with my wife, and I want to get it back. I'm not happy feeling like I can't, take my shirt off with my son, play basketball because he's embarrassed for me. I'm not happy because my hips hurt all the time and I can't go on a run with him. He's in cross country. It's the life that they're unhappy with. If you're in the practice, if I ask you, what are you unhappy with? Typically I hear, I'm unhappy that I'm taking work home with me. I'm happy because I feel like I'm on a gerbil deal, just doing it, and every month it starts over like Groundhog Day. I'm unhappy because if you really ask me, am I generating the worth? Am I generating the financial that I should be? No, so this is things we don't like. So we have to understand, if we don't like them, why are we still doing it? And why are they not working? Well, is it you? Is it you're not co-laboring? You're not putting the time in? Or is it maybe the system's broke? I think most of you are probably willing to work your tails off and enjoy if you had a system that would show results month after month, year after year. So let's talk about what's not working, then we'll talk about what's working. So what's not working? Well, when I say the traditional model, what I'm telling you, I don't mean simply allopathic. I mean a model that calls the client a patient. You're a patient, so automatically they go, okay, so the only reason I should see you is I'm a patient, and a patient is always defined as sick, having something problem. Well, wouldn't you rather be more like a personal trainer? Well, people come to you because they just want to get healthier, not because they have a disease or they're labeled with something like diabetes. So a patient also means I'm the patient, therefore, if you're the doctor, you need to fix me. You need to fix me. And I'm entitled to it through insurance because I have insurance. Okay, so this whole system starts off with, well, it's a patient-doctor relationship rather than a doctor-coach, patient-student, okay, mentor, apprentice. So we want a little bit more of that. Then we have this fee for service, whether it's insurance or cash, it's broke. It's a Band-Aid program. Every time you come in, you exchange money, and now you become a salesperson. I don't know about you, but I never ever sold anything when I was in practice. I'll get to it later, how I did that. But wouldn't you rather offer an opportunity for people rather than, do you take my insurance? And if we treat our business like a traditional model, the response we'll get from the prospect is going to be a patient response. And then we blame them, well, they just don't want to take care of themselves. Yes, they do. You're telling them that you're traditional. So these things put us in a position where when we calculate the number of hours we put in a week, we find out that I'm not getting paid any more than the manager of McDonald's, okay? And no one should feel that way. That we need to create value, and the value is always going to be in where they go. It's the destination of where the client goes, not your stuff. If the value is in your stuff, your treatments, your consults and all of that, you're a commodity, you're back in the traditional model. I'm not saying you don't use these things. Get this straight. It's not that you don't use consults and certain treatments and hormones and supplements. You do, but we're gonna package it different, okay? Because what happens if Janet here, you've worked with Janet, her goal was to feel like, you know, superwoman over the next 4 months, and she's been feeling great, and she says, oh my God, this has been the best thing ever. And then you try to justify the fee by the stuff that you give her, and so here she is. She leaves your office feeling like $1 million, and then she gets this receipt of where the money went, and now she's trying to justify the money for the supplements, justify the money for the consult, justify the money for the chiropractic adjustment or whatever that. She forgets about how far she's come because you're telling her, oh, the value isn't where you've come, the value is in the stuff. And she'll want to pay for the stuff. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want to have to be forced into this game of what insurance companies tell us to do. And I'm not taking your insurance away. So if you're taking some insurance, sometimes there's a place for that. It can help people. But if we don't have the ability to thrive without insurance, we don't own our practice, the insurance company does. So you can do both. We have those. We call them hybrid practices. And sometimes the insurance companies will drive so many people in the practice, we'll say, hold on to it, but now that's your marketing. We'll take those people and put them into wellness programs. And if we stay in the traditional model where it's not clear up front and transparent that the results that Peggy's going to get is in direct proportion to the amount of co-laboring she does. So again, when she doesn't get results in the fee for service model, I paid you and I'm supposed to get here, and it's not clear. They didn't go through a curriculum of education. They're not being held accountable to the point, even before they move forward, this is what it looks like, this is what you're going to be required to do. It's more of a, I'll talk to you per visit and kind of tell you what's good with diet and all of that, but I'm not going to put you through a curriculum to solidify this. And then they don't get results, they're pointing at you. Whereas if she was working with a personal trainer, she's not going to point the finger at the personal trainer, because the personal trainer said, I'm not going to get you in shape. I'm going to be your coach. You're going to get you in shape. I'm going to be your coach. I know how to do it. I'm a guru at this. I'll get you to be superwoman, but you are going to be the one that co-labors and does this. And in 3 months, if you're not getting the results that you want to, whose fault's that? Well, that'd be my coach. Well, okay. And then so we need to be going into this understanding the relationship that I want you guys to have with these people. Yes, you're a doctor, you're a diagnostician. Yes, you have that credibility, but you are to hold them accountable and to celebrate with them, okay? We don't want to be doing this. Burnt out, because so many doctors I hear one of the biggest parts of the burnout is because of the paper they work. And when you go into the kind of model that I'm talking about, you're not going to have all that paperwork. So I want you guys to have more family time. The old model doesn't allow this. Most doctors are working 5 days a week, maybe 6. They don't count the evenings and the weekends that they're working. So we have these dreams. I call it a plan. One of the things that I just went over, we asked that prospect, tell me what you don't like. And they go through it. They tell you about their life. They don't say, I don't like that I'm a diabetic. They say, I don't like what happens as a diabetic, right? So then I ask them, where do you want to go? What do you want? And they just light up. They just light up, right? And they don't say, oh, I want to be diabetic free. They don't say that. They say, man, I want to be 20 pounds lighter. I want to feel really great. I want to have intimacy with my wife. I want to look 10 years younger. I want to play ball with my daughter. That's what they want. Okay, so what you don't want, is it acceptable or unacceptable to stay there? Well, it's unacceptable. Okay. So we're not going to go there. We're not going to play there anymore. Whereas the traditional approach is, okay, these are the things you don't like, we're going to manage it. And hopefully we'll make some of these things go away, but we're not taking them to a destination. And that's where we lose out, because there's not much value in simply managing the situation. But the reason I bring this up and call about a plan, when I ask a doctor what you don't like, it's easy. Tell me what you want. They start going through it. I kind of help them understand, look, let's go where you want to. Don't put restrictions on it. And when we get done, is that where you want to go? That's where I want to go. So what you told me, you want a 3-day-a-week practice. You want to empower people's lives. You want people to hold themselves accountable. You'd rather have people stay for the full program instead of walking out the back door. You want to be insurance free. You want to take home $25,000, $30,000 a month. You want to take 4 trips a year. You want to go to Africa, and you want to learn to fly a plane. That's what I want to do. Great. Will you commit to that? Yeah, I'll commit to that. Can we go there? We can if you'll commit. Now, has anyone else ever gone through this with you? Well, no. So you never had a plan? No. How can you ever expect to get to this dream place if you don't have the plan? So in the new model, we're going to help the prospect develop a plan, because now if there's a plan, that's going to help them get to the destination, and that's where they want to go. So what's working is this destination model that I call. It's not about the symptoms. It's not about the boo-boos. Yes, they're going to tell you about them. They might come with those. We're letting them know we're going to go chase your dream. We're not going to focus on the negative. It's like my COO Seth had a meeting had an experience with Tony Robbins, and he coached with him. And Tony was telling him, he said, Seth, this is interesting. He said, I learned racing a car. And when they're racing this car around the track, they'd come really close. And you guys have seen this if you ever watch these racing. They come so close to this wall, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And Tony says, I was getting real sketchy. I was coming close to this wall, and I was like, man, I should back off. And the coach said, no, don't do that. Stay on it. But I want you to turn your eyes where the car's going down the track. Look down the track 40 yards or whatever. Don't look at that wall. The car will move where your eyes and your body goes. If you look at that track, if you look at that wall, you're going to hit it. And it's like in the traditional model, people are always looking at the wall instead of saying, I know you don't want to hit the wall, so we're not going to look at the wall. We're not going to dwell on the wall. I'm going to have you focus and dwell on where you want to go to. So it's a positive approach rather than a fear approach. It's all about where we're moving to, and that's a beautiful thing, and they'll hold on to it. And the value is priceless. It's not a cost. It's not an expense. It's a place I want to go that now holds a priceless value. So see what I'm saying? It's how you communicate and where you show the value and where you're willing to take that person if you feel competent to take them there. That's the relationship that's going to last. That's the relationship that you're going to be put up here. That's the relationship that's going to give you reviews. That's a relationship where people will find the money to invest in themselves, because that's what they see now, because you're different. You're category 1. You're not in that pay me each visit model and here's your stuff. You're out of that model, right? So people in this approach, when they know that their destiny is determined on them, there's a form of freedom. We think people don't want to be accountable. Yes, they do, but they need someone to hold them. If you can't be that coach to hold them accountable, they lose trust in you. They don't think you're the one. People do look for the coach, even though that coach might be, well, they're kind of intense. I know that's what I want, because I know I can't lose. I know it might be tough, but I need the coach to hold me accountable. It's like when my wife looks for a trainer, she looks for a trainer that's kind of tough. Not everyone wants to go where she wants to, so maybe they don't want quite that, but they want to make sure that you got me, and you got me because you love me. You got me because you care. And so most of the people that come into your practice, by the way, are going to be not the youngsters. They're going to be middle-aged or older. And they do see that they need to change. They do recognize that they're aging, and they don't like it, and they have symptoms, and they've lost hope. So when we help them change their diet and so forth, and they can see the change and they understand the why behind it, they'll co-labor with you. So that's a beautiful thing, right? We're trying to get accountability. They'll co-labor with you. The personal trainer, you see at the gym, you see the client looking at the person. How do you want me to do it? And they're not saying no, they're not complaining, they're whining. I mean, every once in a while you see a personal trainer and their client's holding the phone. Well, that's a bad personal trainer, right? There's good ones and bad ones, good doctors, bad ones. But typically speaking, if you're a motivating person, you care about the client, you really can't wait to see them change, because they're going to get emotional, they're going to love you, and it's going to be hugs and all that kind of stuff. That's a wonderful thing. That's what you want for the people that come in. And that's what I want for you guys as my clients. I want you guys to succeed. I want to see that success come. So we're going to find out where your plan is, just like you're going to find out what their plan is. Let's take you there, and here's the strategy, and here's the plan, and here's the time frame, and this is what I need from you. Is this fair? You're the first doctor that when you take them through that, no other doctor has ever taken them through that process, and help them, reassure them that they're in charge of their life, not external circumstances. They're not a victim. They'll respect you, and they'll appreciate you for bringing that up, because they do want to take control of life. But every time they get from the doctor tells them they'll fix it. The doctor's in charge. So the doctor's playing God. People don't want that. There are some people that don't want to co-labor. We're not talking about those. We're talking about the people that you want as clients that do want to co-labor with you. And when this happens and this relationship happens, here's a beautiful thing. Now that we're so much virtual, digital world, people are looking at your reviews. If you guys don't have a minimum of 25 reviews, and I'm talking 4 or 5 stars, if you don't have those, you can start getting beat out by other people that know what to do and get these. Well, when you start really changing people's lives and they commit to you to the 3 months, the 4 months, the 6 months, whatever that is, the longer they're with you, when you're effective at your coaching, the higher the value goes up. And as the higher the value goes up, the more they see that as a priceless opportunity that they had with you, a priceless experience, and the higher opportunity, they're going to let people know. So we want to build, your credibility is going to build when people stay with you to the period of time to make the changes and not leave early. Your profit margins are always going to be better. I do a whole nother deal on this. I don't have time right now, but the amount of time that it takes you to onboard a new client. Every time I say client, just remember, I do mean patient, but you guys know why I'm saying this now. A client is someone that's going to participate, a practice member, however you want to do it. Patient holds old connotations that will put people back in, just like a Powerball stock. Oh, I'm a patient, so I can't do nothing. You're going to fix me, and again, here's my insurance card. We don't want that to be in the conversation. They need a new environment. They need an environment that's lit up, that's bright, that's not sterile, that they're excited about it, and they've never met someone like you that's actually showing them, let me be your coach, let me empower you. So now your lifetime value of your client goes up. If you don't know how to calculate lifetime value, just write this down real quick. Take the trailing, let's say 6 months, because I know some of you are earlier in your practice, but preferably 12. What is the average revenue per month? Let's just say that average revenue per month is $40,000. So that's your average revenue per month. Now take the average number of new clients that actually start with you each month. I'm moving forward with you, Dr. Webb, and let's just say that is 10. Okay, so if that's the average revenue and average clients, some clients might be with you 2 days, some clients might be with you for a year, but the average lifetime is 40,000 divided by 10. That would be $4,000 per client. That'd be the average, okay? So you might want to calculate yours and see what it is. I think you'll be surprised that it would be lower than what you might think, because sometimes people tell me, oh, it's 10,000, and when I calculate it, it's like $1,200, and they go, oh, well, but I have people that stay here. Yeah, but the majority of them don't. Oh, so you're spending 60 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever it is, if you include your time before and after a consult and paperwork or whatever, maybe 90 minutes. It takes you 90 minutes to onboard a new, whether they come on board or not, that's your consult for the new person. Well, it's the same amount of time for someone that's going to have a lifetime value of 5,000 to 500. So again, our life gets taken away when we're not effective in dealing with people and taking them through to the full destination, rather than the symptom model where they're in and they're out the back door. That takes all your time, and the lifetime value goes down. So time burden goes up, the value or the generated revenue goes down. So profit margins, they suck in the traditional model. They suck. I'm just going to be straight up. They do. And that's why so many of you, and again, I could probably ask a lot of you, and I'm not beating you up here. I'm being your coach right now. What'd you take home last year? A lot of people, I don't know. How are you going to get out of the forest until you know these things? What's your profit margin? I don't know. So what I'm telling you is, in the traditional model, typically the net profit margin, what do you really taking home. It's usually less than 20% of total revenue. So if you're collecting $50,000 in the traditional model, sometimes you won't pay yourself but $10,000 a month, and that's terrible, right? In a good model, we want that to be on the low side, 30% all the way to 50, all the way to 50, especially virtual practices today. So when you rather do a $50,000, take home 25. And by the way, in this model I'm telling you about, you can generate all the way up easily to 80,000 a month on a 3-day work week. Okay, I did a 4-day work week and generated $300,000 a month. I'm not saying that braggadocio. I'm telling you, it's a statistic to show it's proven, and I have clients that have done twice that much. Okay, and I took off 90 days a year. I personally worked 3 days a week. My team worked 4. Everyone had a 3-day weekend. It's a beautiful thing. I want you to be able to have the freedoms to travel. I want you to have the freedom to say, hey, I can work from that chair. And you really do need to understand this model will allow you to go virtual. Why should you be able to go virtual? Because if we go through a challenge again where our doors are closed, what are you going to do? We've already experienced it. I pray it never happens again. But I'm also a savvy entrepreneur to know I better protect myself if it does, so I can sleep at night. So I'm just assuming that it certainly could. No biggie. I'm good. I'm virtual. And you can go virtual very quickly, and that means that I can sit on this chair with a computer on my lap. I could be doing this in Cabo right now with you guys. I could be doing this. In fact, see, I'm in Cabo right here. So it doesn't matter when you're virtual and your overhead goes down. So you can do both. I like brick and mortar too. I like to see people. I like to meet people personally. So the 4 critical keys: your message, creating your ideal client, customizing your programs, and the practice evaluation. So what do I mean by your message? Well, it's never about your services, ever. It's never about you or your services. So if you go to your website, for example, and when that message first pulls up, if it's got something to do with you on it, you've already lost the game. Because that's old school. That's look who I am, look at my certifications and all that. You've already lost the game. They're gone. It's got to be about them. Your message always has to be about them and what they don't want and what they do want. So if you have, I'll go through real quickly here in a second, a site of one of my clients to show you how well this works. But you're always going to have a headline, a subheadline, a message, and a call to action. All your marketing, you got to get the attention. But our job is to get our message out. If you're not getting your message out and you just have what you call marketing is to bring people in for a consult, you've lost the game. Because you're asking people to come in that haven't been educated in this new approach. So they're coming in without understanding anything, and you're asking them to move forward and invest in all these other deals. Well, they're just confused. So the call to action is always going to be, right now, you guys are not in a consult with me. You're not in a consult with any of my team. There's a whole mass of you out here, and I'm spending 1 hour in a education process. That way I can get those of you that it resonates with and those of you that are action takers to say, why would I stay where I am? I got an opportunity. Let me take the next step. Let me go to that workshop that Charlie's talking about, or let me get on a strategy call. Here's where my practice is. Help me understand, how can I turn this? What's that look like in your model, right? So the process is going to be like here. If I pull up this website, first thing I see here is grow healthier, not older. Grow healthier, not older. That doesn't say anything about the practice. What's it talking about? It talks about me. Subheadline: we make healthy living simple. Beautiful. So who could this apply to? Oh, about 90% of everyone over the age of 40, maybe over 30, right? What's the call to action? Register for our demand masterclass and mini course. Register now. Is there anything here about call for a consult or anything like that? No, there's a reason for it. Dr. King here, I love this guy. He's been a client for several years. He doesn't want people to call for a consult. He wants to educate them because he likes his consults to be real easy, and he likes them to close and move forward and become a client. And that's why he does this. So if I scroll on this, there's 3 easy things he's asking you to do. You've got to tell him what to do. What do you want me to do? I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. Register for the presentation. Attend the presentation. healthy are you? Pretty simple. That's not complicated. There's nothing here about how many diplomas he's got. There's nothing here about we care. There's nothing about here about where his location is. There's nothing here about his stuff. Nothing, because they don't care, right? Free yourself from the broken healthcare system. So what is this about? It's what they don't want. What do you not want? I don't want this stuff. And it talks real quickly about what I don't want. The best investment you can make is in your own health. Here's what I want. So do you feel like you're, and these are things that it's not, this is not about labeling. This is not about labeling, guys. It's about telling someone, are you wasting time and money on tactics that don't work? Gaining more weight and getting sicker, trying to stop hunger cravings, taking more medications as you get older. It's general. Speaking about the typical American, they fit right into that. Yeah, that's exactly what I don't want. I don't want that. No disease mentioned. No, it's general. And this is not about insurance. This is not about cost. It's the best investment you can make is in your own health. He's already telling you up front, are you ready to invest in yourself? You're worth it, or you'll keep living this way. And then if we take the next one, our programs can work for who? Well, our programs can work for anyone. And he just talks about what to expect. 92% increase energy levels, 98% increase mental well-being, et cetera, et cetera. It's about what am I going to become? It's always about what they're going to become. I always talk to people and say, tell me what the super dad looked like. And they'll tell me, okay, what's Superman look like? Oh, and they'll tell me, where do you want me to help you go? Can we go there? This is what this looks like. Do you want me to put together a couple of opportunities, one for Superman, one for Super Dad, one for, how do you want? Yeah, same thing, Super Mom. And so the whole reason that you'll have a relation with someone and the reason that they will say, I'm committed and I'm going to invest this 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, whatever that might be, the reason I'm investing it is because I'm worth it. I'm investing it. This is money that's going back in to me, to Charlie, because I want that life with my family. I want to live in a youthful way, and it means a lot to me. And it's really easy to have these conversations if you are living that way. If you really respect your health and you're willing to invest in your own health, these are easy conversations to have. Call to action, register now. Still, there's no phone number, there's none of that. And I'm not saying you don't have a phone number, but that's just someone needs to reach out and ask some questions about this. And then we finally get to mastering the Vitality speaker. Well, okay, here's Dr. King, and this is about his talk, and I can get a little preview on it. Okay, so that's there. And as I make the next one, oh, what are these? They're testimonials, they're reviews, right? On my site, when I was in practice, I had no less than 30, 40 video reviews from my clients. And if you went online, there was tons of 5-star reviews and all this. I need credibility. Still, we haven't really talked a lot about Dr. King yet. We gave you a snippet of what his talk looks like, and now you're hearing from all his clients. And now finally at the very end, here's Dr. King if you want to know a little bit more about him. Okay, and of course there's the call to action. So this just gives you a really quick snippet. I went through that real quick. I do a whole webinar on putting these things together, and I have a conversation with him in the workshop. We're going to go through the webinar, or not the webinar. We're going to go through messaging. We're going to show you how to build your website, what should be in it. We're going to go through it. We're going to show you a couple examples, and I'm going to have you guys register ahead of time. Okay, we're going to give you an opportunity to say, I want Charlie to cover mine, and we'll pull up a couple of these. We'll have time, and I'll go through and I'll mentor you on what I see. Here's what's good. Here's what's not good. Here's how you make the quick changes, and that value in itself. Well, I can tell you, Dr. King has a little conversation with us, and they charged him $10,000, and then of course we had to fix it, and so the value I'm giving you is worth a lot more than 10 grand, because what you're going to get for that is a dated marketing deal that has nothing to do with moving people. It just looks pretty, and there's absolutely no value. They can't show you how effective it's going to be. So don't go drop a ton of money on a website. Chances are you need to update yours, but it's not going to cost a lot. I mean, I'll show you how to do it. in the workshop. Finding the ideal patient. It's not going to happen. You don't find the ideal patient. I want you to understand that 90% of the people that need you don't understand you right now. They don't understand there's an option. They've been indoctrinated to believe one thing: go to the doctor, get diagnosed, have insurance pay for it, and have them fix you, and life will be good. That's just the way that it is. And if you have been taking insurance, I'm not beating you up again. If you've been taking insurance and you do fee for service and you call them patients, you're part of the challenge. You're part of the problem. We're indoctrinating people to live this way, and then we get mad because they don't want to take care of themselves. Don't be that guy or girl. Start changing it. Start being that category one. You can transition this as slow as you want or as quick as you want. People, my clients are extremely productive. They're seeing a lot of people. They're having a great life. There's nowhere near enough of them. We need to change healthcare in this country. That means we need thousands of you guys, girls, get on the boat with us. Right? I want to help you guys do this. So creating your ideal client is doing what I'm doing right now. I am in the process of creating my ideal client. I don't know about you guys, but I only want to work with people that I'd be happy to give my phone number to and go to dinner with. That's who I want to work with. When I was in practice, it's exactly who I was and what I did. And yep, I had dinner with some of my clients. We became friends. They respected me, I respected them, and we had a great relationship. I did not accept whiners. I didn't accept bitchers and moaners. I worked with people and I helped people up front understand what the relationship would be like, but what the expectations, and they respected me. Not everyone wanted that, but they really respected my transparency and helped them understand that health will only come when they participate. So you get to, in this model, create the ideal client and share the message to where you're going to be working with people that you can't wait to look on the books and see who's coming in. Oh my God, we're going to have a great day. This is going to be a fun day, right? I can't wait to get on with Carol or John or Brian. So you're going to send your message out through webinars or in-person live talks. We've designed them all. All the stuff I'm telling you about, guys, now, you don't have to go design it. I would never expect you to know how to design an effective webinar. Never, unless you've been doing this for as long as I have, or work with a marketer that really has a great track record. There's a formula to all these things, guys. And so I don't want you to have to do that. So no matter what I'm talking about, don't get overwhelmed thinking, well, I don't know how to market and I don't know how to put a webinar together. Come to my workshop. Come to my workshop. I'm going to show you the simple formulas in the workshop. And basically, with any of our clients, we do these. Right? We drive over 40 to 50,000 new clients into our practice office every year. Why? Because they're an FPC client and we know how to do it. But you are going to learn how to do this correctly to get people to raise their hand saying, I've been looking for you, Dr. Webb. I just didn't know you existed. Yes, I'm more than willing to co-labor. No one's taught me. No one's held me accountable. I don't know what to do. And we have to go into these relationships with our heart, look at the public without judgment, and realize the majority of them do want help, but we have to have a crucial conversation with them. We have to learn to connect with them and take them where they are and then help move them along. So this is how it's going to start. Now you get to spend 1 hour doing a webinar, whatever it's going to take, and out of that, that's where you create your ideal client. So in 1 hour, you might get in front of 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 100 people, whatever it is. That's how you become productive, and that's how you start getting 90 days off a year instead of trying to do it one at a time. Because if you're not doing this, then you got to do it one at a time, one way or the other. You have to educate every person before you can ever go in to a consult and ever ask anyone to invest in themselves. It's not going to work unless you do this. So I'd rather you do this instead of all of that. And then the people that come in for the consult, there's a high probability those are going to be your clients. Sometimes it's not the right fit, and we're going to show you how to do that consult to where if it's not the right fit, you won't take them. But we're going to learn to connect. There's going to be content. There's going to be an opportunity in our webinar. So for example, when I started this conversation with you guys, the first thing I had to do was connect. I had to build some trust. I had to help you understand. I know who you are. I've been there. I've been in the tough position. So I told a story that I've told 1,000 times about the trials that I had and how those trials ended up leading me to a better place in life that I probably would have ever had without them. right? They helped me be the coach that I am today, and they helped me have a big heart in understanding people's tough situations. But I've also learned how to get out of every situation. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this, what I do. The content is what I've been covering, and I've already covered the call to action once. It's what? It's a 4-hour workshop coming up on the 11th of Saturday. That's what I want you guys to do. If we only end up spending this hour together and we're done, it was worthless. There was no point in coming here. You can't walk away from this hour and go to the next place any more than a person can walk in your office and spend 1 hour in consult and go, I got it now. You're going to look at them and go, yeah, how's that going to work out? You know that nothing's going to happen in their life because you haven't had the opportunity to take them to their destination, right? And I can't have that opportunity with you yet either. But what I can do is continue to empower you, take you to the next level on the 4 hours, or maybe you've been watching me for a long time. Maybe you've seen some of these things. Maybe you just want to get on a discovery call with one of my team and talk about where you are, what you don't want, where you want to go, and have them help you with strategy. So you'll have those options. So everyone has a story. You've got yours. I started with one of my stories. One of the things we teach you guys, and one of the biggest stories you guys probably have that you don't know, is why you got in practice to begin with. And if I walked into your practice, and let's say you're brick and mortar and you had all these people coming in today, hey, can you tell me about Dr. Carol's story? What do you mean? I'd want you to go, oh, you mean the one she said on the webinar? You mean that story why she became a doctor? Yeah, that one. Oh my God, it was a great story. Let me tell you. That's how we connect. We connect with stories more than anything else. In a world with a lot of distrust, we need to learn to tell that. People need to know who you are from your heart, not from the head, not how much stuff you got, not how brilliant you are, and not how many years you've been in practice. They don't care. They care that you know them. They care that you care, and they care that you have what you're wanting to do with them. They care that you want to take them to a new place, not manage their stuff. All right. So again, 4-hour workshop, Saturday the 11th. I want to. There's some other things that I want to cover just briefly here before you get, but I want to leave some room for questions. So when you do a presentation, when you do these, I'm not covering the whole formula now. I will cover it more in the workshop. But in this time that I'm spending with you guys right now, let me tell you what I don't do and what I do, and you'll see that I held up to this. Don't cover specifics. I'm not going to dive in and cover the specifics because I got 2 fact finders on here that want specifics. That's not my client. Fact finders are never your client. Neither are perfectionists. Because fact finders and perfectionists are procrastinators. They never get anything done. So don't worry about 2 or 3 people that come into your practice and want all the details. Well, are you going to be a doctor? They don't want the details. And the people looking for the details, it's just habitual, and time again, you know what ends up with them. They just never move. They're finding reasons not to change. So there's a place for finding facts, that's what I'm saying. But if you dive into the specifics, you're going to lose most of your crowd. They don't want specifics. They want to understand the logic, the why. That makes sense. What I need on my side. Do you know where I want to go? Do you know me, Dr. Webb? Do you know me? Do you understand? Okay, you do. You've been this. You seem to be living the life. You walk the talk. Okay, I like your story, and it's logical the way that you want to go. That's all they need. That's all you need right now. I'll get into this in more depth in the workshop, but guys, if you start talking all kinds of stuff, and when you do your presentation, notice I'm doing my presentation in a place where you can see me move, you can see my hands, you can see my body. There's a reason for that. I'm not just a head with slides with a bunch of words. There's very few words. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words, whatever. Most of the slides I've used are images to just help us go there. So I have both, I've got visual and auditory and kinetic. You see me move. That's how we build trust. So we're not going to be teaching. I'm coaching. What I've been doing is I've been delivering information, and as I deliver it, I'm not just telling you memorize this. That doesn't work. Okay, that's dumbing down. That's indoctrination. That's how the world seems to work. I'm empowering. I'm giving you an understanding of something and empowering you to the why, so you don't have to remember it. So you go, well, that's totally makes sense, and we're not overwhelming. I'm only covering 4 things. And those 4, if you master them, you're done. You get to take the practice where you want. If that's a 3-day-week practice and you want to take home 20,000 a month, notice I'm always saying what you take home, because it doesn't matter what your revenue is. It really doesn't. But it does matter what you believe is freedom-wise on the financial side. What do I need to give me the freedoms I want and to give back? What is that number, right? So don't overwhelm. If you overwhelm them, they're confused, they're not moving. And then we've got creating your presentation. So again, we've already done it. So all of our clients, they don't create the presentations, we do. Or done for you. So I'm going to start going in this a little more deep on the 4-hour workshop. You want to start creating yours? I'm giving you enough tools. If you just listen to me or you go back and you watch the review on this, you'll see I gave you quite a bit. Now, obviously, there's more to it. We know that, and that's why I want you to take the next step. But would you rather try to do this on your own, or would you rather just do something that we've already done it? Like if there's a hit Broadway play and it's cranking and there's thousands of people going every single month and business is good, do you want to go try to build a Broadway play, or just want my Broadway play that's already been proven a hit, right? Creating your customized programs. So a lot of times people, well, if I get away from fee for service, I can't do programs because they're not customized enough. Guys, it really doesn't matter if you've got a really perfect customized program, if everyone's walking out the door. Your fee for service, they're not staying even to be on a program. You'll build a foundation program, and I'm going to show you how to build a foundation program for the mild case, the moderate case, and the severe case. So you have 3 customized programs, and all of them will have the foundational components to allow people to be successful. Remember, we're all humans, so what needs to be in a program? Just for, okay, well, should there be nutrition and education? Well, of course, there should be an educational curriculum, yes. Can you educate the clients one-on-one? No, don't kid yourself. You're spending a lot of time, you're losing time with your kids. The curriculum that we've built, that educates the client. But remember, nourishment, which will include supplements, diet, exercise, diagnostics. Those are the things that are going to be within your program. You'll tweak those for the individual, but now you have someone participating you in an agreement for the time period that you guys have agreed on to get them where they're going, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Well, you're going to be tweaking it. You're going to be working with them. It is customized to them. So you'll have those programs. You might even have the, what I call the signature program for the person like me that walks in. Yes, I could be your client. I'm very healthy, don't have any challenges, but if you can take me to the next place, I'm the $25,000 client. I'll invest in myself. I always have. I invest in myself. I invest in my business because I like to have a return. And if I don't take my hard-earned money and invest it back into my life, nothing happens, whether it's my health or my business. So again, I'm telling you, you first have to look at yourself and go, am I putting myself first? Because if I'm not, I can't ask that person to put themselves first. So I'm going to have to go because we're almost in. I want to cover some questions, but in the PME, the consult that you do have with them when they're ready, after they've gone through the education, they got it, they understand. Now they're going to their consult. Tell me how you can help me, Dr. Webb. You're never going to sell anything, ever, ever, ever. I know some of you are confused about that. Not going to happen. You're going to offer an opportunity, maybe 2 opportunities, 2 choices. It's a priceless opportunity that they see as, which one do I want? Supermom or Superwoman? Which one do I want? It's an investment. The return on it is the destination that you help me see, Dr. Webb. That's where my money's going, not to your stuff. So you never have to sell. So I do want to, again, remind you, let me just go through this. Remind you again, because these things go by so fast. Next Saturday, September 11th. Guys, no matter what you have on your schedule, I'm going to ask you, open it up. Let me continue to coach you, because that could be the 4 most important hours you've done in the last year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I don't know. It's a starting point. If you don't want to stay where you are, and you have to be willing to take action. You have to be willing to have an open mind and say, I have to do things different. I'm not interested in fixing a broken model. Now, you might have a model very similar that we can tweak. That's cool. But if it's just simply the old school model and you just want to see more people, fee for service and all of that, I'm not your coach, because I don't believe in it, and I've already seen the destruction that's done for doctors, for families, for the patient, if you will. I'm not for it. You can keep it and add this for people that when you coach, you can bring them in that, but we're here to help you build a new model. So do you have some questions, Danielle?
Yes, so Jill is asking, would like his thoughts on social media marketing for building interest in your webinars, or how else to get the word out.
Okay, so you're trying to, the question was, how do I get the word out to drive them to my webinars?
Correct.
Okay, so yes, social media is going to be a big one. Your current herd is going to be a big one. If you've been in practice for a while and maybe you've got a herd of 4,000 people, yes, you're going after your herd. Some people forget about this. They think, oh, well, they're my patients. Guess what? I take your patients and they come into my herd because you didn't offer them this. They still like you. They do. Every single client that I ever had was in practice, they had a doctor, every one of them. They had a doctor. They might have a chiropractor too. And they came to me because I offered them something they weren't being offered. So don't ever forget to invite your current herd to these webinars. But digitally speaking is going to be probably one of the most impactful ways. Again, we have marketing teams that put this together, write the Facebook ads, everything else. But there's also other things, Clubhouse, things like this that you can get involved in, start getting into groups and getting the message out as well. What else? No other big questions. So guys, I kept you just a few minutes late here. I'm always respectful of your time. Click on the link, go to the chat and click on the link for the workshop. If you have your phone, you gotta like swipe it over to get to the chat. Click on the link and that'll take you straight to that. Now, if you just have questions, is there a link that they can click if they have questions and you want to get on a call with Danielle? So then click that one. Maybe you need some things answered first that we didn't answer. So if that's the case, please do that. But I'm here to continue to empower you, to mentor you. Many of you have seen a lot of my educational videos. I really do want you to be our FPCs, our next success story. We love success stories. I want you to be there. We're going to lift you up. If you never become a client, I promise you, still going to lift you up, still going to help, going to support you. We've got ways, but you got to let us know. You got to let us know. I want the help. We're not going to come track you down if you don't. So register, get on a call, whatever it might be, and let's work. Let's take this year and let's get prepared for 2022 to make the best year in your life. Let's be entrepreneurs, not just doctors, and let's build a practice around the lifestyle we want. And I'd love to be a part of that, guys. So thank you for trusting us enough to be here and hanging out with me for the last hour. Appreciate you guys. I look forward to seeing you at the workshop.
Oh, thank you. That was great. I have
Thank
taken
you.
note
I know
of,
we had to move quick. Hours go by quick, but thanks for
I
doing it.
know, lots of information too. So just as a reminder to everyone, we are recording this, so you will get a follow-up email with access to this recording. And I've taken note of the link, but I can grab it from your team as well, Dr. Charles, to provide in the follow-up email so they have access right to the link.
Perfect.
For the program right and the course right there. And anything else you want to include too, we can do that on the landing page in the email. So again, a reminder, you'll be getting this soon. So again, thank you very much for another great webinar. And we hope that we will get to see you all again soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.